And welcome to Tint Wisdom number 60. I am here with Harry, friend of Tint Wisdom. Been on many past episodes. What's up, Harry?
Eric, it's a beautiful day somewhere in the world.
What do you somewhere in the world?
No, just kidding. You're out in California, man. So it's always a beautiful day out in California.
It is. It is a beautiful day out in California, but we're inside in California, unfortunately.
I hear you.
I say unfortunately, but I don't actually mind.
Are you able to get out? Are you able to go walking and stuff and running, or
Absolutely. So, in California, what we can still do is obviously we can go to like the grocery store, gas station, any essential types of trips, but then also any sort of like activity, like going for a walk, going for a jog, totally allowed. You do have to wear a face mask, which we did buy a bunch of them, and yeah, I mean, like I live kind of near the beach, by like kind of near Santa Monica, and they closed all the parking lots. Obviously, they're doing anything they can do to keep people from driving across town and like overpopulating areas. But you in your local area, you're totally fine doing whatever you want.
good, good,
So
good, good.
every like 2 or 3 days, I'll go for like a walk or a jog, and that's all my knees can take anyway.
I hear you.
What
I
about
hear you.
you?
Houston is, obviously New York is the hardest hit, and with a lot of restrictions. Houston's not as bad. We see a lot more cars than I would have thought. So it
Hmm.
goes to show that there are a lot more essential people than we thought. But it's
Well,
the yeah, that's a sarcastic. The neighborhoods, luckily our neighborhood had some trails and stuff, some walking trails. So my wife and daughter go out. My son and I go play tennis at the tennis court. So but not as bad.
yeah.
Not as bad. We try to stay away. We were not eating. We're not going out and stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's one of the big things I think we're doing a little differently than maybe some. I know we're not the only ones, but not we're like not ordering food anymore or anything like that. Like I kind of don't trust, like I just feel like look, if we're gonna be inside and we're gonna do this whole quarantine thing, then why not just take it as far as possible and be as like safe as possible? There's no reason to half-ass it.
So it's interesting. The CDC said on the food part. The CDC said that they don't think that food can transmit, but the question is if that same saliva falls in the food, then why can't it?
Well, and I'm not
Right?
even thinking about people spitting on the food. I was thinking even just like the delivery driver, like touching the bag, like everything, like
No,
anything.
no, agreed. But
You know?
look, we're sitting here, and as we're talking,
Yeah.
there is spit coming out,
Well,
whether you like it or
well, if
not.
we're all wearing a mask, the spit stops coming out.
Sure, agreed. It's a lot better. So
You
no
you have
doubt.
to
And
wear a
again,
mask there or no?
not yet. No, no, not
Do you
yet.
have lines outside your supermarkets?
We do have. We don't have lines outside, but in the mornings we do, like in a Costco or something. Once in a while there is. It's tapered down. Eric, I was talking to a friend of mine about the shortage of. And obviously this kind of leads us also to where we're going, but just about the shortage of groceries and other things. And I was trying to explain to them that there's a difference between purchases and consumption, right? So what's happening right now is that there's pantries are getting stocked, right? There comes a point in time that those pantries, everybody's pantries keep getting stocked, and there comes a point of saturation
Mm-hmm.
where they can't buy anymore. Now,
Mm-hmm.
so consumption has not really gone up. Purchases have gone up
Right.
because it's going in storage. Now, some things, consumption and some things, unlike what most people want to believe, toilet paper consumption has not gone up, but a Clorox consumption, the wipes have
Sure.
gone up,
We're
and
washing our hands more. We're using double the amount of soap or triple the amount.
double the amount of soap. So
Yeah.
there are certain things where consumption has gone up. The rest of it is just a matter of time. If production continues at the rate that we were at or close to, when we reach a point of saturations and everybody's stocked up pretty well, they're going to be, what are you going to do? Stock up instead of for a month, for 2 months or 3 months? People are not going to go down that path. We don't need to. I think we're a nation that can produce things if we need to.
Yeah, and it kind of to me this week, maybe just like yesterday or but like it kind of feels like we've turned a corner because I think what was like kind of looming over our heads was the uncertainty of what if this gets out of control bad, like just next level bad. And I think now that some weeks have passed, while there's still the uncertainty in a lot of levels, like we're not so concerned with millions and millions of people dying. We're kind of it's within some sort of concept of what's going on, I think. What do you think?
I think it is, but I think part of that is for the wrong reasons, right? Part of that is, in my opinion, because people are frustrated at in being in a lockdown. They're frustrated. They need to make money. They need to also get out, right? They need to run their businesses. They need to run their lives. They need to run their families, all of the above. So I think part of it is coming out because of just a level of frustration that you've been cooped up and you want to go out and do those things. Look, until we have
I'm just saying the sentiment just feels like it's not. It's like we're headed it towards like a reasonable future, and not like this catastrophic, unimaginable future. You know?
But again, I think part of that is because, look, the numbers of infections, as we track them, we know what they are. So yes, it's not going to be as bad. But the reason it's not going to be as bad is also we have taken, the government and the states and stuff took steps to
Yeah.
reduce it.
I'm not saying it was overblown. I'm saying that it feels
Okay.
like we turned a corner. Like that, as of last week to this week, we're maybe on the other end of some sort of anxiety of or big anxiety. Like it feels like we're looking towards reopening, not towards an unknown amount of time till reopen. We're looking.
I agree on that, but I'm just saying what I'm saying. I guess the difference between what you're saying and I'm saying is I agree that the sentiment has changed, and there've been talks about reopening or phases of reopening, but the reality is that until we really find somewhat of a cure or some sort of vaccine, opening
Yeah.
means that we're just going to go back into the mud.
Right. And at that point things could get worse, and then we could end up having to close again, which would cause quite the panic because then you have the uncertainty of anything. So, I'm just saying I feel a little better today than I did maybe on Monday.
I do
But
too. So the reason I feel better is also because, look, the initial projections were based on the numbers that we got, and then those were reduced because the states took charge, and they included the distancing and so forth. So I think that we took the appropriate measures. I feel a lot better today than I did 2 weeks ago when the projections were even higher. And again, the thing about projections is you deal with the data that you have. So it's okay as we get more of a pool. Our results are going to change. So I mean, I'm glad they just changed in this direction rather than the other direction.
yeah. Hey, real quick, Ed Munt
Yeah.
Munt put a
Yes.
comment in here, and he just said, "Hey everyone, thanks for the speedy shipping, Harry Rahman, and thank you for all the help, Carol Lockwood." So I know you posted, Veloce posted that you guys will be shipping and everything reopening with like limited staff, limited, and so on, and
Yeah.
precautions. I'm curious, have people been buying film these last few weeks?
Look, they haven't really been buying film, and they also knew we had put out a statement that we were going to shut the warehouse. So
Right.
unless somebody needed an emergency film that they had sold, or they were matching a window, or something happened, or something, we would ship them out once in a blue moon, a piece of film or something, or a roll. But since we had put the message out, nobody was really calling us because they knew that we were closed. Now going into it, we had quite a few orders come in today that because we've officially said, hey, we have uh, the letter from the county that says we're essential. So, but we're still taking precautions. Everybody's working from home. We've got our two guys in the warehouse that are coming in, and one is doing one thing, the other is doing another, staying far apart. But there's nobody in the office, other than me.
So what I heard was that unrelated to Veloce, but what I heard was that Expel RX film that we've discussed before is completely
Yeah.
sold out for a couple of months. Did you happen
Wow.
to hear anything similar?
No, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, these are, they're good products. They're coming in, and they're making they're making a difference in today's world when people are more conscious. And so I think it's good timing.
It's definitely good timing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they saw it coming with that product, but definitely opportune for an opportunity for them. And I just feel like it's an like people should you have to look at it and go, well, why is that film sold out? If you're a tint dealer, an installer, and you're saying, well, why is that film sold out? And then are there other products that you may want to get ahead of that you're going to need that may sell out, that your life's going to be better if you have them than if you don't.
So the Expel RX film is a film that I've seen about six different suppliers supply, and all within 90% of each other. So what you will see is that I've looked at a film, I looked at a film about a year ago, very, very similar to an RX type film. And I just, at that point, our focus was okay, let's get out our solar control products before we start getting specialty products. But you will see it. This product is available. It's mainly coming, I'm not seeing any made in the United States. It's mainly coming from Asia. But I think they're helpful products. And I think that more and more companies will incorporate them. And you're going to see more of them in the marketplace.
Is Veloce one of those companies that plans on integrating a film like that?
We had it as part of our plan about a year ago,
Yeah,
and
what are you
we
doing
already,
now? I know you
yeah,
looked at it, but are you planning
for
on rolling
sure,
it out or what?
for sure. Look, it's part of the wave. And it's not just a wave. It is something that I think it's the new norm. So we will see not just that, but we will see other products. We've got some not just films, but we've got some sprays and some liquids that will target certain bacteria and so forth. So you're going to see, which both of them were apart. So we're going to speed up that process and see. We had the chance, and we have that product available as of today. But we thought, well, let everything just calm down before we come out of it, and then that way we can do a little bit more research on it as well.
Are you able, like, not you specifically, or maybe you specifically, but like in general, like right now, obviously, there's no like traveling and stuff like that to Asia, but can you order things from China? Are they shipping products and so on to the U.S. or?
So look, we're getting, in terms of products coming from China. Look, we're sitting. We don't really. I can't speak for China itself, but from Asia,
Uh,
because I don't know about China as well. But for Asia, there are a couple of products we do get from Asia, and we're sitting on a decent amount of inventory. So because we stock quite a bit of it, so I don't know as of today.
okay.
But from what I hear, look, China manufactures 40% of the world's. China holds 40% of the world's manufacturing, right? So at the end of the day, what's going to happen is they're not going to shut off. They're going to continue to ship products left and right. I mean, if China shut manufacturing, honestly, it would shut the world down. 40%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of speaking of manufacturing, something I've been wanting to ask you is obviously, like, you see a lot of companies, both big and small, kind of shifting. It's something you actually mentioned a few weeks ago on that big roundtable, like where companies will obviously like shift potentially to create products, services that are, maybe in a huge demand, even if a temporary one, but to fill demand and so on. And one of those things that we've seen now from tint dealers, tint manufacturers, and so on are different mask setups, whether they be clear
Sure.
shields made out of, like literally like a clear shield, like a security film, or like a woven mask. And then we've even seen it from, I saw a manufacturer drop in that they were doing like their logo printed, and like you see that through many actually. But my question to you is, um, it's almost like it's almost like tempting, I guess, in a way. I don't know if you want to call it tempting, because like one hand you're like, hey, I want to do anything I can do to help. So if you have those materials and you have that infrastructure and you can quickly pivot, then you're just doing something that's good for society and good to help and so on. And then the next angle is kind of like, well, are you getting into something that may help you sustain your business? Maybe it's a whole new avenue. Maybe this is one of those stories you look back on and say, yep, there was that virus, and we went from doing this to this, and it changed the whole course of history. How did you, coming into this, like, how do you look at all those sorts of things? What are you tempted by? What are you thinking?
I think that we're seeing a couple of the companies that are doing that right now, really making a lot of donations, or really not making it as a profitable item, but really to help the first responders to begin with. So I really hats off to those companies that are taking this opportunity, first of all, to just help the people in need. I'm sure there are people making money on it, and making money is not a bad deal as long as you're not, gouging people. So the ones that are making a profit out of it. Look, Eric, I think it's natural. I think at times like this, it
Oh,
is
I'm not
natural.
judging. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear on the question. I'm not asking you how you feel about those companies. I was
Yeah,
asking you how you looked at it as Veloce. If you've thought, hey, we have security film, should we do that? Or here's the reason why we're not going to do that. Or do we want to make, even if it's, do we want to make products that are going to be specifically for our window tint dealers as a way to, better protect themselves and their customers? Because, like, promotional products,
sure.
maybe products they purchase, is that sort of thing on the horizon, or is it anything you've kind of thought about?
So I'll tell you, when I looked at that, because these times bring up opportunities for us, we have a clear picture of where we want to go, and we didn't see this as one of those things for Veloce anyway. That doesn't mean it's not right for Expel or other brands, Matico. It seems like Matico is doing some good stuff out there as well. So it for us, it was going to take us off our game, which is off of our plan, off of our 5 year plan of where we need to be. This was, there's certain times things come along that jump in, and there's such a huge opportunity that you could have a pivot in your business. We didn't look at the masks as that. Now we are looking at the new norms and seeing, yes, we can integrate a lot of different things, but the masks itself, I think that there are certain companies, that I think, and I think Matico is doing a good job of trying to produce these masks and stuff. So and they're doing it with with a lot of. By the way, as we're speaking, I just got a text from somebody that said, Harry, you can still get a haircut.
Yeah,
Right, the
actually, that's
guy.
something I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, yeah,
I wanted to see, obviously, I've shaved my head, and
yes.
it's kind of like a thing. I feel like for quarantine, you maybe give your head a buzz. So I was wondering if there's anything I could say or do if you have a pair of clippers at home that maybe you could shave your head if you're willing to participate and kind of go for it. So that was
It's very,
actually a
yeah.
question I had prepared. I don't usually prepare questions, but that was one I had in my pocket waiting for you.
Listen, I'm not. Look, Eric, you can get away with anything. You're a good-looking guy. For me, I need hair on my head to at least look half decent, according to my wife, if not full. So it was just funny because somebody just texted me. They're watching us, and they said, "Hey, Harry, get a haircut." I don't want to forget Ed. Ed, thank you for your business. Thank you for the opportunity for Veloce to service you. I think that I think you're going to be happy. So going back, look, we didn't
Going
look
back
at
real
it
quick, let
as.
me pause you.
Yeah,
Joshua
yeah.
Reeves asked, "What is Veloce?" I want you to answer his question. I can answer it, but I want you to answer it.
Sure. So, guys, Veloce is a vision that I had. So, I worked for a brand for 18 years. And after that, my goal was I realized that innovation in our industry is pretty slow. We were selling 18 years later the same products we did in 2000 when I started there. So, good company, good products, but they really didn't have any innovation. So, Veloce in Italian means fast. And so, the name of the company is Veloce Innovation. We are a supplier of window film right now, architectural flat glass window films, a lot of specialty products, some new technology. So it's a window film supplier that is. We're going to be introducing automotive technologies as part of our Veloce Automobilia program as well. So we have ceramic products, dual reflective, spectrally selective, and all that stuff. So if you would, the spelling is VELOCE innovation.com if you want to look at the website. So thanks. Have a look and give us some feedback.
Okay, so going back to what you're saying, I completely understand it and I get it because you're saying that you have your plan, you have the route you're going, and sometimes things can be a distraction and so on. And the reason I wanted to ask you because I'm legitimately curious, and I think that there may be some other tint companies out there that are saying, hey, do we need to get into? We're seeing more and more people doing these side things. Do we need to get into it? So I just figured maybe your take on it can help. And I agree that sometimes, it can be a beautiful blessing and opportunity, and other times it can be a distraction and pull you in another direction and leave you spinning and in a worse position. So it is one
Yeah.
that only you kind of know what's right for you.
Yeah, look, as we look at our so we have a 10-year plan on hand, but we don't, the 10-year plan is, God forbid, something like this happened. It throws your 3 month and your 30-day plan way off, let alone your 5 or 10-year plan, right? So as we look at that, I think that there are opportunities. If you have the machinery and you can do something like this and make a little bit of money in terms of masks or other related PPE, protective equipment, then you should help yourself, you should help the community. There's definitely a need for it, but as far as we're concerned, it just wasn't a big enough opportunity for us to look into it. Now, again, there are several other things that we are doing to adapt to the new norms of new products, innovative technologies, innovative ways of doing business that are going to be the new norm. And I think that, if you're sitting at home during this downturn, and if you're sitting at home and you're saying, well, I'm going to wait till things are over, I want you to take this time and take this opportunity to think about the new norms. What is this industry? How is it going to affect our industry? And what do I need to change? And I'll tell you, Eric, that if you're sitting home and you're just waiting for things to come back to normal and that you're going to go back to life like it was before, I think you're going to be surprised and you're not going to be prepared very well.
Well,
I mean, give me your
yeah.
thoughts on that.
Well, first of all, I don't believe in just sitting and waiting unless you are needed a break, and that's going to put you in the best mental state to get started again. But in general, I think you got to do things that I feel better when I'm doing things that I know are going to be beneficial for me long term, even if they're small things, than I do just on the sideline because I feel like it just builds anxiety when you have no control. Doing some steps, even that's why I always say like cleaning your shop, becoming organized, working on your systems and processes, like those sorts of things. They give you a sense of control, and to me that's valuable. Getting kind of rewinding, I guess, back to like the masks and so on. While I'm just wondering, like, we're talking about new norms, and maybe this is a good intro into that. Like, one of the things, a common thing that dealers would expect, window film manufacturers came to expect of their dealers is, wearing like a professional shirt, like even like automotive dealers, like some of the higher end automotive dealers, like part of their requirement for being like, for example, like a Formula One dealer is like they want their employees in a like collared shirt or in like at least a uniform shirt. And then
Yes.
we're going into like, and then obviously with your shirt, you have like pants. So hopefully you're wearing nice pants. And then you go to shoes and you go to, well, how's your hair? And you go to, now we're going to overall appearance. You can also factor in the vehicle you pulled up in. Is it wrapped? Is it beautiful? Is it a piece of junk? Is it so on? It's your overall presentation as a company. And then I feel like, now looking forward as to this new norm, I say, well, what is the most, if customers are going to start shopping for businesses to do business with based on how protected they're going to be as one factor, one contributing factor in their purchase decision, when that comes into play, what does the best tint company look like, literally physically look like, and what procedures do they do to be the best at earning people's business, that their primary concern, everybody's, if we were 3 months ago, everybody wants to show the edge they have on the film, right? On the top edge and it's shaved. Maybe if it was flat glass, you'd want to show that you pulled the seals, or, how far behind the seal you got, how there's no light gap and so on. Well, now what most likely people are showing, the people who are still in business or preparing for business, is they're showing how they look wearing a mask. And they're talking about the steaming and the sanitization features. So you have to understand that people, not you, but I'm saying in general, people are not necessarily going to be worried about the price as the number one thing. They're not maybe going to worry about the stats of the film as the number one things. Of course, those are the things that they want, but in front of their mind, it might be, what are you doing to protect me? So I guess my mind kind of went to, like if there's going to be Veloce masks, and if there's going to be like gloves, or if there's going to be a protocol as a Veloce dealer that this is what you should do. And, like the new norm, like you said a few minutes ago, what is the new norm, and what can companies do to prepare their dealers for a better new norm?
So, no doubt. Look, you know how important booties were in
Booties
going
became
into.
popular more like the Kim Kardashian, I'd say, like in the last 10, 15 years, right?
Right, right. But booties are, if you're walking into a nice home and so forth, guess what? You were wearing booties,
For
right?
sure.
And yeah, yeah. But the type of booties that you're talking about, we'll take
I
that offline. Yeah, we'll take that offline. You damn Californians, man. So that was a common thing, right? Is that in flat glass, you want to walk into somebody's house. It was a show of respect. It was a show of protection. So we just take booties to an all new level, whether that's gloves, and that's not just gloves, but fresh gloves. Because look, gloves can, if you're wearing gloves, you could be contaminating the whole world with gloves. I think somebody showed an experiment with paint and how gloves work. So gloves, if it's face masks, if it's making sure that where you're seated, it's making even sure, we have as part of our automobilia program, you're going to really, we've got some really cool stuff. Even when you sit in a car, they're protective things that are just, they look beautiful. They're very protective. So when you go into somebody's house, even where you sit, even whether it's your shoes and your hands or your breath or whatever it is, the masks, I think that, if you're not planning on this, and again, I hope, Eric, I really hope, I go back to what I say, which is you prepare for the worst and you hope for the best. I hope that in 2 months or 3 months, we can say, you know what, all that preparation that I did, we don't need to mess with it because we found this and we found a cure and we found a vaccine. But at the same time, if you're not preparing and you're waiting for it to go away, take matters into your own hands.
So, and I want to take it a little further. I don't want to put you on the spot, but we're friends, and I feel like I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
put
go
you on the
for it.
spot. I feel like I like to say what I like to spend other people's money in these tint wisdoms and come up with ideas that other people have to fulfill. And one of them is I feel like, if you're a tint manufacturer, if you have dealers under you, you 100% know that at some point they're going to be installing your film in a customer's home or a customer's car. So we're 3 weeks into it. We may be seeing states reopen tint shops, who knows, in the next week,
Sure.
2 weeks, 3 weeks. So we're potentially further than halfway into this. And I say, I haven't really seen any manufacturer stepping up and saying, "Hey, this is our protocol for our dealers. If you want to follow it, this is what you can tell your customer. These are the things you can do for your customer, and these are the ways you need to act around your customer. And this is what we consider to be your best plan of attack and your safest method moving forward." Because what could potentially happen is some states go back to being open, let's say next week, end of next week or so on. Next thing you know, people are back at work. They're tinting whatever they can tint. They're doing whatever they can do. And they're not necessarily going to have that time. If everybody found out, hey, everybody can go back to work tomorrow, how many people are going to spend today and tomorrow morning figuring out their protocols, and how many people are just going to go, thank God, and go tint windows? So like what I'm saying is there a plan for that, or what do you see as far as that, or what do you think? Is that over preparation? Do you not think that's a dealer's responsibility? It's more the tint shop's responsibility. Where do you see that fitting in?
So we had put out to our dealers, we had put something out when all this started happening. So about a week into it, we had said, "Hey guys, here should be your protocol for now." I think as we move forward, I think what's happened, Eric, is that this is so fresh and people are reacting in so many different ways that that norm, that what you're describing, which I totally agree with, which is, hey guys, present the new standard operating procedure, right? At least present it. A dealer has the ability to customize it, use it, not use it, but present the standard, the SOP, right? The standard operating procedure. So we had put something out early on about some of the things, the precautions that they should be taking, and I think we need an update on that as well. So point noted, and I think that I will take that on and start putting something out. And as we build something for our dealers, I'll share it with everybody because I think that it will be a good,
Yep.
good.
Look, somebody schedules an appointment right now. Let's just in a
Actually, I'm
hypothetical.
going to make a note on that. Hold on one second. Yeah.
You can watch this back too.
Now, dude, you give me more. It's like I feel like I am at home with the wife. I'm getting all sorts of homework.
So
No,
think,
good
I
point.
mean, just
Good point.
even like a simple one is, obviously like everything we just discussed, but one of the things that stands out to me is if a customer, let's say, schedules, you schedule a customer's car or you schedule their home. If they were to get a follow up little text message or email that kind of says, "Hey, this is what to expect. These are the precautions we take when you come. Please, respect the 6 feet distance, or all of our employees will respect that distance with you. We steam. Upon completion of your vehicle, we'll steam blah 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 and disinfect your handles and like that sort of communication." Just a copy and paste text message or email after an appointment, it's pretty like that could be one of those things where it could earn you a good review right off the bat because this is an opportunity to, like you said, what's the new norm? Set a new norm. And, people are looking for cleanliness. They may not expect it when they come to get their car tinted or their home tinted. And it may be that thing that earns you so many good reviews. The next thing is somebody sees good review and about, health. And it's one of those trigger points. If I saw that, if I was looking for a mobile mechanic and the mobile mechanic had reviews talking about the gloves and the face mask they wore, that would be a contributing factor into me wanting to
I
hire
would pay
them
more.
versus
Yeah,
somebody who didn't.
I would listen. A, I would pay more for it. I would be willing
Yeah.
to pay more for it. B, you would also have a much higher closing ratio because you're making me feel that okay, I can't protect from everything in the world, but this person. And my thought on this, Eric, is, one of my mentors always said that when you do something, in effect, Eric, we are all very selfish. We do things, even when we do things for somebody else, we're doing it maybe to fulfill the hole in our heart
The
as well,
question is,
right? So,
is there really even a truly selfless act? Because even the act
yes,
of being selfless is kind of for yourself.
exactly. So,
Right.
what I go to that is that as you do this, I don't want you to do this for your customer. Do this for you. As a dealer, I want you, look, all the wealth in the world, the Egyptians proved this. The Egyptians proved you can't take it with you, right? So health is always greater than wealth, right? Go to the pyramids in Egypt and or look them up, and you'll find out that you can't take it with you. So I want, as dealers, I want you guys to do it. I don't. It's for me not having the entire staff in my office is not about them, it's about me as well. It starts off, if I take care of myself, then I'm going to take care of somebody else. So do it for you, do it to protect yourself, and don't just do don't just get into a car because you want to protect them. I want you to use those gloves to protect yourself. I want you to use everything you have to do. And in effect, it's kind of like, what Southwest Airlines says. Southwest Airlines says, Eric, we take care of our employees. Our customer is our employee. If we take care of them, they're going to take care of their customer. So I want you to take care of your customer, you and your employees, and automatically they will take care of the end customer.
I get you. I think, I completely understand what you're saying, and I like it because it's a feel good way of looking at it. Like, take care of yourself, and that trickles down. But, like, I just think in general, like, at least for myself, and I feel like I see it in a lot of other people, we're willing to sacrifice our own health and our own well being sometimes to get the job done and to make a customer happy and so on. So, like, how many people will wear out their joints to bring in money? So, like, money for your own health. We're making that trade off all day, every day, sometimes mental health, sometimes physical health. So I just feel like, if you put the money on it and you say, hey, this is how you're going to earn more customers, this is an opportunity for reviews, this is a way to propel your business in maybe a slow time, it's almost more of a incentive for a lot of people than maybe saying do it to protect your own health. Because a lot of times people say, they take on that, hey, I'm fine, I'm not worried about myself, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. It's easy to say that about yourself, but you can't say that about other people that are around you.
Yeah. Look, if I went out, and I was using this example with a friend of mine yesterday, if somebody told me that you're going to go outside and Eric, you're going to be bitten by mosquitoes and it's going to hurt a little bit and it's going to be a little scratchy, but you're going to come back in and you're going to be okay, right? So I would say, I'll take that risk. If I'm playing tennis outside or I'm playing soccer outside and I get bitten a bunch, no big deal. Eric, the stakes are very high.
Super.
This is not, yeah. So my thing is, guys, yes, you can sacrifice yourself for many things, don't sacrifice. The stakes are just very, very, very high, right? I had a friend call me today. Uh, his uncle in New York, 59, 60 years old, passed away, right? From the coronavirus as well, right? So I'm just saying stakes are too high. Put yourself first. You're not going to take it with you. Your family, your employees, whatever it is, put yourself first. They can't, they need you.
So going from there, let's jump into Lance's comment. No, I'm just kidding. Well, Lance's comment I will bring up. He said Lance Colors from Las Vegas. He said old ways won't open new doors, and obviously
Love
that's
it.
a play on the mug. So
Yeah, I know, I
thank you,
know. That's
Lance.
beautiful.
So
Lance gets it.
Lance definitely gets it. You know, there's
Lance
certain
gets it.
people that you see that are like they take it up and beyond, or like there's some sort of like a strong force behind them. There's the
Yeah.
wind is with them, and he is one of those people. Sean last week that I spoke to, not last week, but the day before yesterday on Tuesday. Sean from New York, like he's one of those people. You just see the fire in him. You just see him moving forward. Patrick Boyer, Matt from Tin
Yes.
Stuff. Like these are people that like you see it. I love it, and it's cool because I look at it from like an age thing too. One of the things I mentioned, Sean, I think was 26 or 27. And it's like when you're seeing, it's almost like a different generation,
Yeah.
you see kind of, and you're seeing another generation and you're seeing those people, those hustlers in the generation, the innovators in the generation, not to take away anything from the generations before that helped pave the way and still continue to. But I want to jump back into something you said earlier, which was the new norms for the industry. Are there any specific standouts to you that are going to be new norms, things that you see just like other than staying 6 feet away from everybody?
Yeah, look, in terms of manufacturing, I want to talk about this because it affects a lot of our dealers down. It affects our customers, right? So keep in mind, guys, that manufacturing has to also take, as we go up the chain of product development, manufacturing also has to take a lot of precautions. Eric, in Seattle, there were one or two cases at the Boeing factory. Now, I mean, I want you to think about window film, and it's important to all of us, but I want you to think about Boeing. There were one or two cases at the Boeing factory, and they shut it down, right? They shut it down. So uh, as we uh, as
Probably not
we
too many orders for airplanes at the moment either.
understood, but R&D continues. I mean, these
Yeah,
these people don't get laid off, just because of that. So
yeah.
it's a long-term play. So uh, in manufacturing, those changes are being made as well, which is because you have a couple of cases that can shut down factories, right? At least until you. So the standard operating procedure is not just at the dealer level, but at every single level along the chain. We saw a pork plant that was on the news yesterday that closed down.
What does
Did you
that
see it?
mean as far as like a tint dealer is concerned, though? Like, if we're talking about new norms in the industry, so maybe there's some things like to me, manufacturing stuff. To me, that's behind the scenes stuff. That best case scenario as a tint dealer, you don't even need to know it exists. Hopefully, like that's like, hey, where's your film made? I don't really care personally. Like, hey,
Sure.
were you wearing gloves when you made the film? Don't care as long as the film comes out right. Is my thought. So is that like behind the scenes
No,
stuff, or is it
yeah,
things that
no,
you
it
see is
doesn't.
going to affect dealers and
No, it
consumers?
doesn't. It doesn't affect the dealer, right? It doesn't affect the dealer for multiple reasons. Number one is those are changes that are taking place up here the same way they are. So it doesn't. The other thing is that it doesn't really affect the dealer because by the time a product is manufactured, if you look at it, by the time it's manufactured, so they say that the virus can last on cardboard for 3 days or so, up to 3 days, I think is what I've heard. So keep in mind that by the time that product is made to the time it
No
arrives at a
problems.
dealer, no problem. So I don't
So
see it. I was just saying that it's not just because we are in front of the consumer, the dealers are in front of the consumers, that those changes have to be made there. They're being made at every step.
sure, I'm sure. So, but like, if we're getting back to like as a tint dealer, what if any, new norms do you see, whether it be in their relationship with their manufacturer or their consumers or regulatory? Like, what do you see as a new norm within the tint industry? If there's significant changes or anything stand out to you?
Yeah, look, in flat glass, and we are already preparing for it. We are actually spending some money and creating some new things regarding this issue that I'm going to bring up. I see a lot of bids being done. I see sales being done without you stepping into the house. I see things happening uh, without you even stepping into the house. So we are already, that is one of the things that we, about 2 weeks ago, we started, we had a meeting and we started preparing for is, and that's going to be a new norm. In terms of automotive, I think that people are going to be concerned. In the past, it was a lot about price. It was a lot about, okay, hey, let's get the this done and that done. I think people are going to be asking the questions. Hey, where is this car going? What kind of place is it? So, like we spoke about earlier, that we were talking about. I think people are going to want to know who's been in my car. What are the, and what do they and it's so funny that your physical appearance can overcome a lot of other things. The coronavirus is what we describe, or the government described, as the invisible soldier, right? So you look good, you look clean, you can overcome a lot of. So I think people are going to get picky for the right reasons. They're going to want to know who's been in their car. They're going to want to know what was touched, what was not touched. And in the architectural world, I just see that a lot more bids coming from you know people not stepping in. I mean, even today, uh, we are already seeing that. We have dealers that'll call and say, "Hey, Harry, look, I've got these pictures and here are the
Of
measurements."
course.
So in one way, it will reduce the cost of doing business for some companies, because now you don't have that extra trip, right? And if you're seeing pictures and you're getting measurements, but in another way, it will take away a little bit of the salesmanship that window film, as we know in the architectural sales. It's not just, you can't sell it over the phone. People can't picture
Yeah,
what that film is
not going
going
to
to
be as
look like.
high as a conversion. You can, but
Yes.
obviously pictures, virtual consultation, something that I've been talking about for a long time, but I never imagined that a catalyst would be a pandemic. Not in a million
Yeah.
years. I thought it was simply a way to be more efficient and use technology and just where people are going, but did not think about a pandemic. Andrew mentioned, Andrew Bully said in the comments, he said, since the SBA screwed many of us, it's time to get back to work. My question to you is, have you heard from any dealers that actually received the SBA loans? Because I feel like what I've seen the most of is people saying they haven't received them, and not really anybody saying they have. What have you found?
So, yes, I don't think in our industry. I have a friend. He runs about a $50 million business in the healthcare
What about the
environment.
just tint? Just tint.
Intent, I'm trying to think of if I've heard anybody that has received it. No, I can't think of anybody. But again, that doesn't mean so.
It
If
doesn't
there
mean
is
nobody
somebody,
got it. I'm just curious.
yeah, yeah. If there's somebody listening, or watching, please let us know. But not in this industry, but in other industries, I did hear this. This is important information, and it's related. Is that I have a friend. He runs about a $50 million business in healthcare, and he has three banks. He has multiple corporations. He has three banks that he banks with, and the bank that he did go that he did get it through was Allegiance Bank, but the bigger banks, Chase and another one, uh, were not able to help him. They were not able to get their stuff done in time, and he didn't get the funds, but he did get it from Allegiance. So if that tells you anything, I think Chase was late to the party this time. Honestly, I banked with Chase, and I saw what they were doing, and they were just late to the party.
So I have two directions that I wanted to go with. We have to go into both of them because they're questions for you. Do you want to take the easier, more fun one, or the harder, more serious question first?
I want to touch on the harder one because the easy
Okay.
questions anybody can answer. Yeah.
Ah, no, they're both good, but let's just start with the harder one. So the hard question is, and this is a hard question. Well, you'll see. So, but it's building on last Tuesday's video. So last Tuesday we spoke to Sean Roach out of New York, and like I said, very impressive guy. Can't say enough good things. And one of the things that he told us about was his experience going from, I believe it was Suntech, and then making this fast, swift, firm decision and moving his business over to Expel. And I had asked him, what was your, like I said, he has a huge shop and he's definitely going places, or is places and going places. And I said, what is, like, what made that happen? Like,
What's your motivation?
what could
Yeah.
Suntech have done to change that? What could, because Suntech, come on, it's Eastman. Like, they could have, like, you go, Suntech lost a customer that has a very bright future to Expel. I know I can probably guess a lot of what Expel was doing right, but I'm curious what Suntech could have done different. And
Sure.
his answer really was mostly around the color of the film. So he actually said that he just noticed that the Expel film matched, like, factory glass on SUVs and so on. He obviously also mentioned Dean Mitchell, and that was someone he spoke with right away. And there's obviously a lot of positive aspects of Expel, but to make that switch, and what the hard question, I guess, for you is, with Veloce Innovation or Veloce Automobilia, what do you think is going to be what are some of the driving factors that are going to make people that have been with companies like Eastman for decades and so on and so forth go, man, it's time to move over?
Yeah. Very good question. So basically, what I hear you saying is, look, if somebody's there, if somebody's been doing business, what is your competitive edge, and why would they switch to Veloce
And it's not
Automobiles?
just like competitive edge, like, well, this is why you should use it, but it's like that boom, like you just, oh, I'm moving over to these guys. And and I know you haven't even released the film yet, so I'm asking you a question that there may not even be a complete answer to yet, and that's part of why it's a hard question, because I don't even know if the answer exists yet because you haven't even released it yet. So it's card again ahead of the horse.
Um, Eric, it's an actually very easy question, and we have the answers for those, and I'll touch on a couple of them. Look, having done a lot of research, there are some good programs out there. Formula One was actually the originator of the automotive program, and honestly, it was for the longest time, it was a good program. And then obviously, Expel is another good program that came out on the automotive side. So I think that they're both good. I think that Expel definitely taking, I mean, I'm surprised the Suntech guy was not approached, and this is one of the problems that happens. What I describe, I did a video 3-4 months ago on conflicts of interest, right? So Eastman with its multiple brands, and I'm going to answer your question as well. Eastman with its multiple brands of, you've got the Formula One dealer, you've got the Lumar dealer, and you've got the Suntech dealer, and you've got the X dealer and the Y dealer, all their brands, right? So honestly, if they had a cohesive effort, Formula One could have gone to the Suntech dealer and says, "Hey, what can we do to retain your business? What are we missing?" Because there are different products and different portfolios. But again, there's a conflict of interest when you have that many brands. And whenever you have more than one brand within this, so if you're selling two brands, and Expel has not done this yet, and hopefully they don't, there's going to be that conflict, right? So, but now to
As far
answer
as
your
like the
question,
thing they haven't done yet was, you're saying kind of like an elite dealership type of deal, right?
yes, yeah, yeah. I
I
mean, look,
bet you anything they're going to do that. It's like an
uh,
obvious move for them because
yeah,
they brought on a bazillion Expel dealers, which is a good thing because whatever. I say no, I think great, only great things. And what's the next thing is, how do you now level up? Because you're not going to have a level down. You're going to level up and say, well, you guys can be part of this, and then you kind of
yeah.
keep tearing it
Well,
up.
right. I mean, so basically, I look at these two-tier dealers, and I look at them at it as a conflict of interest, right? Because what happens is the bottom tier dealer, especially when the names are very similar. So what recently you see Lumar, which had the Vista program, and now it's Select Pro by Lumar, and I mean, they've
It's
really
confusing,
they've convoluted it.
super
Look,
confusing. Yeah,
as a if I was a Vista dealer that I'd spent so much money all these years promoting the Vista name, and
yeah.
now you're going to call it Select Pro and all the other dealers around me. So it's also a justification, Eric, by suppliers to add multiple dealers in an area, and it's a feel good thing by
That's
saying,
true.
"Hey, Eric, you're going to be a Formula One dealer, but we're going to have a Lumar dealer in the area. Or we're going to have a Suntech dealer. So now they can have 3, 4, 10, 15 dealers in the same area and say, but Eric, you're the only Formula One dealer in the area,
So
right? So
the funny thing about that is, I even think, like, I think you bring up great points. I even think when you talk about Formula One, like if you talk about brands that have actual brand recognition in the marketplace, like you go 3M and then you go Lumar. In my opinion, you go that's what comes out of your mouth. You go 3M,
agreed.
Lumar, and
Yes,
and then you go, well, where does Vista fit into that, and where does Formula One fit into that, and where does it's like you almost are better off. It's like if you're going as a Lumar dealer to a Formula One dealer, you better still advertise that you're a Lumar dealer, because if you only mention Formula One, you're going to confuse the world. Like nobody's going to really care,
yeah.
except for the few that know about it from having it, or maybe a message board.
Yeah, and you see a bunch of brands doing this. I mean, you saw 3M, even within the 3M, they had the Prestige, and then they had this. Now you have other brands. What they have done is they've kept their own brand, and then they've started another brand. But reality is all they're doing is saturating market. So one of the things, to go back to your original question, one of the things, one of our goals at Veloce is that we are not going to use that justification. There is going to be one Veloce Automobilia dealer. We're not going to say, hey, there's a Veloce Cheapo dealer and Veloce Automobilia, and then there's the Veloce Prestige, and we have this great automotive program. It's either you're Veloce Automobilia or you're not Veloce Automobilia, right? So, or you're not, you don't do business with Veloce Automobile. So that's one of the biggest things we're going to do is we're not going to justify putting in more dealers in an area by calling it a different brand. Well, it's X, but we're creating the Harry brand, and we're just, well, Eric, you're Veloce, but we're going to sell Harry to every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there, right? So that's one of the big things we're not going to do. The second thing is that, look, our product portfolio. Go ahead, you're smiling.
No, no, I'm not. I'm unrelated. Unrelated.
Okay.
Keep
All right.
going.
All right. Share the joke, man. Share the joke. so,
No, this,
so the second thing is that our portfolio is going to be different. Our portfolio of what we look today, there are a lot of good brands out there, but there are also a lot of subsets of different suppliers. So we have picked what we feel in terms of color, in terms of we have options. We have in terms of color, in terms of pricing, and so forth. The third thing is that we are not going to have distributors in the United States. We will have distributors internationally. What that allows us to do is it allows us to keep a pulse on the market. We don't look what I'm seeing with a lot of companies is it's a blame game. Oh well, that's not us. You saw this with 3M and the masks or something. Well, that was one of our distributors. That wasn't us. So there is a play there. So we're not going to have distributors. We are going to sell direct to our dealers, and we are going to be held accountable for what we do wrong, and we are going to get credit for what we do right. What that also allows us to do is it allows us to compete in the marketplace from a pricing structure perspective, where we can offer some amazing pricing on various products that in terms of upsells and so forth, from the conventional to the ceramic to the super ceramic to the super Veloce products as well. Our marketing is going to be different. It is going to look different. It is going to act different. So, look, today, if you go to a brand and you say, I have a territory, what does that territory mean? I mean, if your supplier has two brands, right, that territory doesn't mean as much. Go ahead.
no, it doesn't mean as much. It means, I mean, look, if we're talking specifically about like Formula One and like Lumar as an example, what it means is if you have a territory for Formula One, that you're going to be able to carry those best of the best films, and nobody else within your area is going to be able to come in and offer that Stratos or that Pinnacle. They're going to be capped off at that CTX, and that's look, whether you think that's the best scenario or not, it is the scenario, and it is still an advantage, and it is the offer that they provide. It's the programs that
So,
they
so
offer,
Eric,
and
I'm
you can be a
going
very
to
successful Formula One dealer even if you have Lumar dealers all around you. Now, is it the
look.
best thing in the world? No, there's always better.
You can be a very successful Lumar dealer with Lumar dealers around you. There's no doubt. We're not
Sure.
saying that. But here's something that I do want to point out. Eric, there's something called product parity. Product parity is something that happens that as time goes on, you start seeing products start looking the same,
Yep.
performing the same. If you look at different brands today, they justify. In fact, there are several brands that Reeboks one brand
Oh, it's
into
fine.
another brand.
Yeah, of
Right?
course.
What's that?
I said, of
Right?
course. Yeah, we
Yeah.
know.
No, no, but
It
I'm
could be
just
all
saying
the
no.
same
But
product, and it doesn't really make a
no, no,
difference
but
because you still have.
even within their portfolio. So we have Veloce Automobilia and Harry Tints, Harry Window
I know
Tints,
what you're
right?
saying.
Which is
Within the same
uh,
level, CTX could be the
with
same thing as Pinnacle. I'm not saying it is, but it could be.
right. So product parity is coming up. Number one, is that because what happens is here's what happens. The top dealer says, hey, look, I want to be the only one. You give them that brand. The bottom dealer says, well, look, I'm buying so much from you. If you don't give me this, I'm moving there. So what happens is they start increasing the performance of these products, right? So this product parity. At Veloce, one of the things that we are not going to do is justify that. So we have different products within our product portfolio. Our marketing is going to look different. It is going to act different. And then the last thing is also with some of the other things, what we have what is called our LMC, our local marketing programs. Today, there are a lot of companies that send out one ad for the entire United States that works well in some areas, it doesn't work in other areas. We are going to customize our approach to our dealers, right? And in that local area. So the local marketing campaigns, it's very, very specific.
So Damien Whitehead out of Australia actually left a comment. I just brought it up on screen. He left a
Yeah.
comment a little earlier in the chat that I think fits in perfectly to what you just said about the local marketing program, LMP.
LMC campaign.
LMC
Yep.
campaign. He said, when a film manufacturer finally helps its customers by advertising their films on mainstream television, etc., they will become the customer's most popular choice of film. I don't think any manufacturer has ever done that in Australia. Now, the only thing that I wanted to comment when this first came through was it, he said mainstream television. And I know mainstream television seems to make sense, and that seems like it would make everybody, understand that. But really, like if it was me and I had and I'm a dealer for a manufacturer, I'd want to see them spending our valuable money on internet campaigns, because with the value, even so at TV's TV, and we all love TV, the value that they're going to get out of that, is not as great as a well-targeted online campaign. And at the end of the day, manufacturers are spending your money because that's how they get the money. Is it's part of a business. It's marketing money. It's the same way you handle your own marketing money. So you do want your anybody you're doing business with to be focused on efficiency and always get the most for their money. So anyway, the TV thing. So what you said fits into what Damien said, as far as obviously a big opportunity is.
Yeah, but I want to add one point to
Shoot.
what you said.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, the whole purpose of the LMC is that even Eric, we've been testing, we've been spending money for the last 4 months testing different markets on the LMC. Before we finalized the LMC, we wanted to make sure that we can say it's worked here. And I'll tell you what's important is even the online marketing or the search engine marketing, the SEM side,
Mm-hmm.
there are certain things that will work in Los Angeles, California, that in Nashville, Tennessee will go off. So the whole purpose of the
What do you
LMC,
mean?
there's certain things. So you're looking at digital marketing as one aspect. Digital marketing is just one aspect of the LMC. We have 8 other aspects of the LMC beyond digital marketing, right? So
A
that
lot of
that
aspects.
yeah. So what I'm saying is, so the digital marketing, a huge play, a really good play.
Hundred
That
percent
may
in
work.
is where I'm
What's
at.
that?
Digital marketing. I said
Say that
100% in is where I'm at. You're saying 8 other ones. So are you talking about television and billboards and mailers and door to door? Like what? How do you fill in
all,
7
all,
more
all,
spots?
all of the above.
That
All of the
sounds
above.
like way too much to me. I'm just telling you, man.
Yeah,
Like I know, like as a side, it
sure.
sounds like way too much to manage, and you're just saying like, oh, we'll do everything. Like there's no way everything's efficient because like it's not. You know what I mean? Like billboards are bullshit. Like they're not efficient. They're not efficient anymore. It's not true. Now you can go, well, not many people use Yelp in this city, and I'll agree with you. But billboards, like overpriced bullshit, and like to think that
hundred
you're going to
percent.
spend your money 8 different ways. I mean, cool if you're testing, which is what you're doing, but like I wouldn't want my
Yes.
money spent 8 different ways because one of those
So
ways is going to work better than the other 7. Or
yes, and that's exactly what I'm telling you. Is that so? Billboards are definitely not one of them. So we feel that the LMC is so no doubt digital marketing is maybe the probably
100%.
the biggest piece of it, right?
Uh,
But there are you just have to trust me on this. We have done this in certain areas. We've tried it, and this is what I was saying. Digital marketing may have a formula that works in many areas, right? But the other parts of those three may work in one area, two may not. By the way, billboards are
Works
not part.
everywhere. It works
Yeah,
everywhere. Digital
bill,
marketing works everywhere. You can't tell me in
I,
Nashville digital marketing doesn't work like it works in New York. It's not true.
no, no. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying digital marketing has a formula, right? It has a formula, but the others don't. There's certain that work in certain markets, and there's certain that don't. Now, so again, I want to let you know, billboards are not a part of that, right? I look at billboards as
And
a
what are
prayer.
the other like seven?
So I'd have to kill you if I told you. So
I
we
mean, how
have
is that possible? This is a marketing solution for the dealers, and you, I guess, you're
no,
testing.
yeah, no. We're testing. We have concrete data on what seems to be working. Do we know what every market is? No. We picked 10 markets and we tried different things in those markets to see what is working. So we don't have can I tell you what it will do in Billings, Montana? No, I can't. But we have a good feel for the other aspects of the LMC, and you will see it in action. In fact, you'll see it in action, I mean, with our dealers, and and we will, and again, I'm not saying they will work every single which place, but we have a good read on it.
When is Automobilia set to be released?
So as soon as some lockdowns go down, probably 30 to 45 days after this time. So we
So,
have
so maybe like let's say everything's kind of back to normal within like a month. That would put us in May. You're probably looking at like June, July, August.
yeah, June,
Put it
probably
there.
June 15, within 30 to 45 days. Look, we were ready. We were about 30 days away from releasing Automobilia, and then we didn't want to release it at a time like this. It takes, it's Veloce Automobilia is not the priority for most people right now. So as things get back and people start looking at things positively, and as we get back to it, we want to release it. So, but this downturn, Eric. It's unfortunate it's come this way, but it's given us a great chance to go back and even look at Veloce Automobili and say, hey, what are the things that we did not have time to do or do well, or what can we improve upon? So we're sitting here right now scrambling to make what we thought was good even better.
And Lance asked, Lance from Las Vegas, asked
Yeah,
if there's going to be a Cool Touch Auto edition.
there is. There is going to be an auto edition. What's interesting, Lance, is
And will
that
it shrink both ways?
It won't shrink both ways. It won't shrink both ways. Look, Cool Touch it's so many different layers, and Cool Touch is always going to be difficult to shrink because it's Cool Touch. Right now, we have variations of Cool Touch at a lot lower pricing. We have a product called SV70, which is a windshield designed film. It's about 72% light transmission and about 50% total solar energy. It shrinks amazing. We've installed it on boats. We've tested it on cars and all that stuff. Lance, Cool Touch is not ever going to be easy to shrink. But again, we don't expect to sell a lot of Cool Touch in the automobilia world.
And why is
We
that?
have specific products. It's the construction of that product makes it more viable. Look, in a car, absorption. One of the great things about Cool Touch IR is that its absorption is one of the lowest in the industry, right? So what it we don't need in automobiles. You don't have to necessarily have the lowest absorption. You can go with something higher. So what happens is the cost of Cool Touch is way up here. What we have done is we have taken away some of these extra particles, and we've made a version thereof at a lot lower cost that has higher absorption, that doesn't, so in flat glass, absorption is a key factor. In automotive, not as much. That doesn't mean you have 80% or 90% absorption, because that heat still comes back in the car, but it's somewhere in the middle.
Got it. So
So what was the easy question, man? I mean,
the
that
easy,
was a
that's where
tough
we're
one.
going next.
All
So
right, okay.
it's not easy, but I mean, it's more lighthearted because I feel like any question that involves other manufacturers' names in there, it can get the blood pressure going sometimes
No,
amongst people.
Eric,
Not
I'm
you,
a,
I'm just saying in
yeah,
general.
no, agreed. But I want to clarify something. Look, there are there are brands out there today that are doing things very well, and we look up to those brands.
Name them. Top five. Who's doing the best?
I think, from definitely from a brand perspective, just because of the size of the company and they make consumer products, I think 3M does really well.
Really?
Right? Yeah, in terms of the size, yeah, they have so many consumer products and stuff.
Oh,
The
consumer products. We're
name,
talking about window tint, right?
no, I'm talking about window tint, but because
Okay.
of the consumer products, people know the brand name. They may not know they make
But
them.
they're doing
I,
things well, or they've done things well in the past. Like if we're talking
no, I think they're still
2018
doing.
to 20, who's doing a good
I
job?
I think they're still doing a good job. I think they're still doing a good job. They're good. I like, a Saint Gobain. One of the things I really look up to. I'm telling you about when I look at these brands, what I look up to, right? I
Right.
look at Saint Gobain, and I think that they are one of the most ethical companies out there, right? I think that they really they really think about when they put something out, they think about the values of what this is and stuff. And I can't, I mean, again, just because they excel in this doesn't mean they excel in everything, but I look up to them for that. I think they do a good job of that. Um, I think Expel's doing a good job. I think on the automotive front, I think Expel is very weak on the flat glass. I don't think they know if they even know what they're doing on the flat glass. But on the automotive side, I think they've done a good job. They've done a good job of coming out with decent products, a good portfolio. I think they've done a good job overall. So I definitely see them as doing something well. On the coating side, on the ceramic coatings, right? I think Ceramic Pro has done a good job of
Mic
taking
drop.
that.
That's mic drop. There's no one even to mention after Ceramic Pro.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. Ceramic Pro so has done a good job in
Uh,
the coatings market, and they have really, and everybody else is in seventh place in terms of coatings and stuff.
yep.
So I think they've done a good job. These are four companies that I look at, and they do. And Eastman's a good company as well. I think, again, Eastman is also one of the things I value about Eastman is, and I'm talking about corporate Eastman right now, is that they're also a very ethical company, and they're really trying to do it. They're trying to make a difference. They're actually, in terms of the window film industry, I think that they've done more education in the window film industry than any other manufacturer. So I think there's so I would put those five in. And again, that doesn't mean that others are not doing a good job. Those are just five of the, and there are other things I look at other companies, but I look at these companies and I say, hey guys, great job, thank you. We are learning from you, and hopefully we'll be able to reach your level someday.
Yeah. I,
So I wanted to bring this up, Eric, because one of the things is, being married for 15 years, I have a mother and as well, and I have a wife, and I can look at them very objectively and talk about the issue at hand. And same thing with our competitors. I can look at them and say very objectively that, hey, there's some that just are doing a great job, and guys, great job, and we are taking notes and we're learning, and we're going to get better. So I want to make sure that those questions about competitors, to me, very easy, very easy.
okay. Yeah. I mean, fair enough. I think well said. So Chamal asked, what about Solar Guard? Solar Guard Saint Gobain. So
Yeah,
that's Solar Guard.
SolarGuard is a
So
Saint Gobain product. I
um,
like. I think that SolarGuard's product portfolio, it has. I mean, they have so many capabilities. They're such a big company. I think they can do a lot more. I was actually very disappointed because I had very high hopes for our industry when Saint Gobain bought the SolarGuard brand. They bought the window film division because Saint Gobain is such a monster and they're such a good and ethical company. I was hoping that they would really do what CP Films back in the day did with Lumar, and really educated the market. But again, it's a good company. I like Saint Gobain. I mean, I look up to them for their ethical values. Number one in my books.
so moving on to the easy question. And so easy question. I want to talk about, something we've been talking about on Tint Wizdom for the last few weeks, at least heavily, is YouTube and video, and the importance of getting your business marketing on video, and potentially having a YouTube channel for your company, and how beneficial that is and will be in the future. So that's something like if you're going, man, I just don't know what to do, and you're sick of hearing me talk about Google Places. Well, YouTube's the next place you can get sick of me hearing me talk about. But
Yeah.
one of the things that you've done, obviously, in the last, and Philip Burnham,
Burnham. Yeah.
Philip Burnham, out of Florida, right? Out of
Yeah,
St.
yeah,
Augustine.
yeah.
He just had great information, Harry, 100%. So I just wanted to read that to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Philip. Great guy, by the way. Great guy.
Philip's an extremely great guy. And
Yeah,
so basically, what I'm rambling about here is you, for the last 4 months or so, have been doing what you call Super Thursdays, right?
yeah.
About 4 months.
Yes.
So I want to take us back and let's do a little rewind. Lance, thank you for watching. Lance had to go, but thank you for watching.
Thanks,
Okay,
thanks.
so getting distracted here. Your Super Thursdays, that was your first real big jump into being on video. Am I right?
Yes.
So if we can kind of take you back to the mentality, today you put out a Super Thursday video, and if we could rewind at the same time and go back that 4 or 5 months, tell me a little bit more about maybe like what maybe on a grander topic like what you've learned, I guess, about that whole thing. But I want people to understand that if they feel nervous at the get-go and they feel like they suck at the get-go, that's not a reason not to do it. Everyone sucks at the beginning. My first videos sucked. Yours, I'm not going to say sucked. I'll let you say it.
They
But
did. They did. They
there's a
sucked.
certain
Yeah.
level of like anxiety and nervousness and just like and it's like a blanket being put over you and you're trying to breathe and talk. And I wanted to spend some time talking today about your Super Thursdays, about your videos, and go from there.
Yeah. So I'll quickly touch on Super Thursdays because I think, I love, one of the things, Eric, I love about you is that you are you're very unique in the way that you want everybody to do good. And and I love that about you because that's what I want. The whole purpose when you say this, you're trying to get people out of their shells and you're trying to get them to build their own domain on right as well. And that's why I started Super Thursday. I thought, look, uh, God has been great to me. He's put in a lot of great people who have done a lot for me. you know, my uncle, who's here in the U.S. Man, I mean, the guy's he's just amazing. So there's just a lot of mentors. I have a consultant with me who's helped me, and just a lot of good people. So for me, just like you do Tint Wisdoms, and you encourage people, hey, start building your videos and start building your domain. You want to get them to do better. I started the Super Thursdays for that. And we spend money sponsoring that ad. We spend time and effort in creating those videos, coming up with those videos. And the reason we do it is it's my way to give back, right? We don't talk about, and you haven't heard one Super Thursday that focused on just what we do in terms of window films. It's always about how you can better yourself as a business, and how you can. And then I also feel that, Eric, like we said, it's not just a selfless act. I feel like by putting those out, we also attract the type of people that are willing and that want to improve. And we're not attracting people that are content in their way. They want to improve. So the goal of the Super Thursday, in fact, we had one that came out today, was what's your go-to? Today's topic was what's your go-to? So we all have our default modes. When we get angry, we have a default mode of we go to this. When we are in a stressful situation, we go to something. So what are the purpose of today's, and what I do is I try to keep them under 10 minutes so that you can listen to them while you're driving to work or this or that. It's a quick once a week and it comes out on Thursday. But today's was what's your go-to? Who's your go-to, even your go-to person? I want you, when things get hectic, or tough or even good, there's an opportunity. I want you to have somebody that's a go-to person that you can compliment. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger. I mean, Eric, how many times have you called me or I have called you and said, hey, Eric, I want to bounce something off you. It didn't make me weak when I called you or vice versa or anybody else. So I called a dealer of mine, I called a friend of mine, or I asked my wife. So you need to have a go-to person. Now, you could have a go-to person for business. You could have a go-to person for personal. You could have a go-to person for X, Y, or Z. You could have multiple go-tos. So
How many videos did it take you though till you felt like you were getting kind of comfortable?
yeah, and I'm going to touch on that because I also want to give a shout out to somebody else recently who's done a great job on this as well. So again, just take 10 minutes out of your week to watch the Super Thursday. It's not me trying to sell you on one of our films. Look, we have enough dealers talking about our films and pictures and stuff to you can ask them about it. You don't even have to ask me. So now to get to your point about how long. Look, I equate it to dancing, Eric. It's like dancing. You know, you're worried about when you get on the dance floor. I guarantee you, there are a lot more people that dance maybe without people watching them than with people watching them, right? So I want you to think about dancing. You're worried about what are people going to think about me? That's the first thing. If you want to do, I'm a horrible dancer, but let me tell you, nobody will ever stop me from dancing. I mean, I am horrible, right? But you can't stop me, and I don't care who's watching me. I'll get out there and I'll shake my booty, and there are probably people, Eric, that are laughing at me saying, "Get that guy off the dance floor." But it's never stopped me. So you've got to get over that feeling of who's watching me. That's the first thing, right? The second thing is that you've got to understand that the video and the message that you're putting out is better than the one you're not.
Right. Doing something better than doing nothing. Most of the time.
Exactly. Right.
Unless
And
it's
I'll tell you one guy,
yeah.
there's a company in Dallas called Tritech Tinting. And I've known this guy, or I've known about him, David Chuckman. And he's out, I think, in the greater Dallas area, Garland or something like that. Tritech Window Tinting. Look at his videos, guys. I want you to look at his videos. And he's an inspiration to me because this guy, he comes across, if you talk to him, he comes across as a shy guy. And I looked at it, I saw his first video, and I felt like that somebody had in fact, I said this to him. I said, somebody had a gun to your head and said, if you don't get on that video, I'm going to shoot you. And he said, Harry, that is exactly the feeling that I had. And now that I look at him, this guy in 2 to 3 weeks, however long he's been doing it, or a month, whatever, look, he has come in a month a lot further than I came in my first month. So you got to put it out. The message that you're putting out is better than the one that you're not putting out. Right? Sure. And don't start with, if for those that play golf, I want you to think about the first day you played golf. Don't think about who's watching you. You got better. The people that play pool, the people play tennis, you got to have the mentality of, I don't care who's watching me, I'm going to get on the dance floor. So get on the bloody dance floor. So to me, it took me, I would say, about 8 episodes to start feeling, so about 8 weeks for me, because I was putting out once. No, in fact, at first I wasn't putting them out once a week. So it may have actually taken me longer. It took me about 7 to 8 episodes to start feeling a little bit more comfortable. And for all of those guys that know me, I have no problem talking. I have no problem talking. You can put me in front of 1,000 people and not give me a topic and give it to me like a second before. I have no problem. I have no problem getting in front of these people. So think about it. If it was difficult for me, who doesn't really care about somebody watching, I can imagine how difficult it is for the people that are not used to this, right? But again, you gotta start somewhere. That person that doesn't know how to pick up the golf club, you gotta start somewhere. You will improve. And the only person you're competing with, and I talk about this in a bunch of my Super Thursday which you call videos, is you're competing with yourself. I don't want you to compare yourself to David Chuckman, to Eric Divash, to Harry Rahman, or anybody else. I want you to look at your progression and look at David's progression, and you will see that he just did a video recently of a project that he was doing. And man, the guy looked so comfortable. Within 30 days, the guy looked like he was a pro, and he's got a long ways to go, but man, he's come a long way. So to your point, Eric, and I love this about you, that you are, and I see that because that's what I want. I want people to compete with themselves and continue to get better. You continue to get better, trust me. Your competition, if it doesn't follow, you will keep increasing the lead. Give me your thoughts.
So, I mean, my thoughts on getting comfortable with it was, I think if you're not almost like forced to do it, if you're one of those people who like despise the idea, you're just like, oh, I don't want to get on video, like I'm too nervous, I don't know what do I do. If you're one of those people, like you basically, it's like jumping in like cold water. You literally have to like throw yourself in there knowing, hey, it's gonna feel fine, it's gonna be over, it's gonna be better for me, this is something that's good. It's just one of those things, you just have to start, like you said. I don't think anybody's necessarily, like, some people are maybe naturals at it, but most of the time, if you're not doing it already, it's probably because you're not a natural at it. And where I wanted to go with the conversation really with you is I wanted to um, kind of expand on, you're doing Super Thursdays, which are typically about a 10-minute, once a week video. Now that you've kind of reached a level of comfort, have you thought, or is there any other plans to expand on that, whether it be under the Veloce umbrella, whether it be personally on YouTube? Basically, now that you're kind of a pro at being on video, what's next?
Yeah, I don't know about a pro, but I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm getting more comfortable in my own
Yeah.
skin. So what I want to do is this. So Eric, if you said, Harry, if you had the money in the world, all the money in the world, and I've got a number in mind. So in case if you ever want to hire me, Eric, I'm open, right? So I've got a number. So if I, once I get to that point, and if somebody said, look, Harry, you have X amount in the bank that you want, right? What would you do? I would go help small businesses. I would go help small businesses. When I say small, the person that's not even in business,
Okay.
or the person that's in business that's barely making a living, I would go help them free of charge.
What is,
That
but
that's
that's
my
on
passion.
video you're going to help them?
What's that?
Maybe I might, I don't know if you got the question. My
Okay.
question is, now that you're a pro on video, is there
What do
any
you want to
chances
do?
to see you
Right.
on more video? Not
Right.
like, what are you going to do, like, if you have all
No,
the
no, no.
money in
But
the
I'm
world?
I'm coming to that. So it's
Okay.
connected. It's connected. So what I want to do, my next step is I want to start appealing not just to our industry, but I want to start appealing my videos to small businesses, people that have not started their business or people that have started their business and are not doing well. So I want to appeal to those because I think that entrepreneurship really makes the world. I mean, we are a small, we're a nation of small businesses, right? So what I want to do is my next step is I want to start helping small business. I want to help people that don't have their businesses start up a business, and I want to help people that have their businesses that are small get up to the next level.
And is that going to be through video?
Yes,
Okay. Got it.
yes. So
So
through
what does that
video, in
look
other
like
words,
though in like Earth? Like, meaning like you're going to start putting out YouTube videos on business topics,
yes,
or like
yes.
one-on-one consultations with
No,
people on
so
video, or like,
it's gonna start up with the business videos so that they can see, hey, this is something I'm interested or not, and so forth. Look, I've got at Veloce we've got a good plan, so I don't want to detour and start becoming just a consultant for small businesses. I want to put out different phases and help people, give them the motivation, just like you're doing to get people on to start creating their videos. I want to give them their motivation to how I, after 18 years of working for a company, the same company for 18 years, what it took, my story of what it took for me to let go and resign after 18 years. The reason I did it was after 18 years, I felt like I would have been there for another 18 years and just been another employee right there, right? So
yeah.
my motivation was different. And there's several people sitting at home, the oil industry. Eric, oil was at $20, $19 a barrel today. So there are people sitting in there that they have passions. Eric, I heard this some time ago, and it really hit me hard. Most people don't regret what they have done; they regret what they haven't done. So if you've got some passions and you want to do something, and you're stable, or you want to try something else, so that's a little bit. My focus is Veloce, but I want to start putting those videos out because it fills a part of me that really really excites me.
So what does that kind of look like? I mean, as far as like, do you imagine like vlog style? Like, are you going to be sitting in your office and like, hey, we're going to talk about a topic today? Is this going to be like a live video? Is this going to be like hours long? Is it going to be like 10 minutes? Like, is this going to be next month? Is this going to be like, what are you feeling, or what are you thinking?
So right now, with the focus on automobilia and with the focus on our LMC, I want to make sure that our teams get those started. And once they get started, then so I'm probably thinking probably in the next 2 to 3 months, we will start something it'll be, I want to keep it digestible. So I want to keep it under 10 to 15 minutes to these people. And then I want to just take them through different phases. We will also be one of the other things I want to do is I want to start bringing some case studies as we do this. I want to start bringing some case studies of different businesses, different industries, of people that have left. I know a lot of different people in different phases, and I'll be inviting people to say, "Hey guys, if you've been through this age, and call me, we'll do an interview with you." Because I don't want to just give them theory. I wanted to take somebody. Now I've got my own story, but I want to bring a lot of different other stories so that they can relate and connect.
And then do you ever see the possibility of sharing more of like I haven't seen a tour of your office. Like I know your office just from when we do these live streams, like what I can see in the background that everybody can see. But like, is there maybe like 44 Tools does a great job of like being very personable and like showing the shop and so or their facility. Like, is there any thoughts about like once a week inside Veloce? Show us some boxes getting shipped. Show us some meetings happening. Like show us a little like a Gary V action, but with Harry H. Harry R.
There
Harry
you
R. Harry R.
There you are. There you are. Yeah, as they would call me, HR. So look, guys, my philosophy on that is if it helps a dealer in any way, sort of form, yes. So maybe what we'll do is we'll ask one of our dealers who feels comfortable next time they're in the office, and we'll do a consulting, because we do a lot of consulting for our dealers. It's part of, I've got some history in franchising, right? Being a franchise as well. So you pay franchise fees and you don't get the kind of support even with franchising after you pay 7, 8, 9, 10% franchising fee. So we do a lot of consulting with our dealers, which is way above and beyond. So we'll talk. I'm helping a dealer right now who has an issue with, he's been in business for over 20 years and he's been doing certain things the same way, but he's not changing with the times. Now he's done well. He's like an $800,000-900,000 flat glass dealer. So he's done very well for himself, but he hasn't changed with the time. So he's asking me to help him change his team, but he doesn't know where to start. So we do. So, maybe one of the things where the customer feels comfortable, maybe we'll do a small subsection of some of the discussions we're having and how we're helping them with his team and some of his change in marketing. As far as look, the office and the warehouse, look, if people want it, I'm happy to do it, but it doesn't really help them. What I would rather do is I would rather take them when one of our dealers is on the phone call or something and take them live with that.
Well, I think it does potentially help them. Like, just seeing inside, like it's education or entertainment or a mixture of both, or it's something else, and like just even if it's entertainment, it's just getting to know. I mean, and I'm just curious. Like, I can't say for specific reasons why. Like, I don't have very narrow points as to why I want to like see your facility and so on. But like, I
Sure.
get some sort of like fulfillment out of seeing people's shops, seeing people's work environments, what they
Loud and
have going
clear.
on, and
Yeah, loud and clear. And that's kind of one of my drawbacks a little bit is I look at the educational side more than the entertainment. So, but thank you. Your point is noted, and sure, happy to. So we've got some. We shipped out a ton of orders today because we opened back up. So I think maybe on one of the next days that we'll take them through it.
And what about personally? Do you ever see like you're obviously you're we see the window film aspect of you in Veloce as Veloce. You're a car guy, you're a family guy. There's other things about you that I don't know, I'm sure. And do you ever see sharing like the personal side to your life a little more out there? Like, is that in any way appealing? Is that something that you follow? And like, do you watch other like people's YouTube videos and so on, or is it not really like your thing? Or where do you stand with that?
When you say other people's YouTube
Like,
videos,
are there any like I don't know, maybe like car? I know you're into cars. Are there any like people who do like car vlogs or maybe make like a video going out for a drive or like a day in their life? Or do you see sharing any
Yeah.
more like a personal side of it. And when I say, it is a loaded question in the sense, like in my mind, I'm not saying, hey, do you want to do you want to share the ice cream you're eating? But it's like, hey, man, you're a business person, and you know that the more exposure you get, that can lead to a lot of opportunities. You know that there's a lot of direct financial return from having a lot of subscribers on YouTube or a lot of, and so on. And I'm not saying, hey, do you want to be the next Jake Paul? Do you want, people pulling at your pants when you're in line like Harry? But what I am saying is, do you see any incentive, or is it attractive to you to maybe start turning the camera and doing more like vlogs or personal related, building up that sort of, this is Harry, not just this is Harry from
Yeah.
Veloce.
So, Eric, my wife, right? So just to give you a little bit of an idea, my wife is a little bit of an introvert. So she does not like to to post stuff about us or the family and so forth. So out of respect for her, I don't really go down that
So
path. I
think
Yeah,
about this real quick. I
sure.
mean, I know it's a little different, but like there are people that have that public profile out there that keep it very like, you don't know who their wife is, you've never seen a picture of their child. So I'm not necessarily, I get that, but like, is that like, if you were going out with like your like a car for a cruise with some
Yeah.
buddies, like making a video of that isn't necessarily going to like bring them into the mix. I doubt like if you
Sure.
hit the point where you're so famous that people are hunting down who your wife and child is, then like, that's not such a bad position to be in at that point. It
Sure,
might
sure.
be
No,
great to
I get
squeeze.
your point. I get your point. So, out of just to let you know, so out of respect for that, even my own boundaries, I don't, I really don't go. I've got a friend. For those of you that know James Beal, we get to see his beautiful house, his beautiful backyard, and the pool that he built. Right. First of all, I don't have any of those, but even if I did, it's just something that I'm not. Will I say, do am I saying that, will I not do that? No, I just, it's kind of like getting on the dance floor. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. But, for you guys know that I love cars, and I do have friends, and we do go driving. And for those of you that like cars, maybe on my next drive, I'll have to post a video of our 65-mile-an-hour runs.
All right. I mean, that's why I'm asking. I'm just trying to plant the
Sure.
seed. I'm trying to plant the seed, and hopefully, it'll lead
No,
somewhere.
I think it's a valid point that today, we it's not just, and for those of you that know me, and the ones that don't, I'll say this as well. Look, guys, Harry is not about just Veloce. When you are friends with me, I have friends, and I mentioned James. We don't do any business with James, but he's one of my best friends in the entire industry. In fact, he sent me a text while we were a bit on this. He said, "How you doing, man?" So that's why I brought up his name. But I don't do any business with him. But he's an amazing friend of mine, and I know he would be there for me if I needed something. Eric, you're one of them. So I have a lot of personal relationships. For those of people that say business is not personal, that's not true. Business is personal. Business is personal because it starts there. And if it gets to the point where business is not personal, then you know what? You're not doing it for the right reasons. Business is personal. We do business with people, and people override business to me.
Yeah. So, is there anything that we did not talk about today that you want to bring up? Because I know I've been kind of dominating the asking questions thing, and you know,
No, I think you're getting back from me for the time I was quizzing you about Tint Wiz, man.
for anybody who
All
didn't
the,
see that video, it was 2 weeks ago, and you can find it on our YouTube channel, Tint Wiz, which is a great place to
yeah,
find
so
all
I
of our
guys, so what
videos.
we did was I called Eric up and I said, Eric, you do such a good job of helping others promote their businesses and helping dealers. So I want to flip the switch on you. And I was questioning Eric on, and then just there was one question where he wasn't answering, and I pressed him hard, and he gave us some
I know, and you
insight.
know what that question was you said like, where do you see Tint Wiz in the future? That
Yeah.
was the question, right? And like that
Yes.
was one of those questions that like as soon as we disconnected, I'm like, oh, I had such a better answer. I wasn't clear. I
So
didn't
tell us
really,
what the better answer is. Come on, now is the time.
it escapes me. I'm telling you, while we do this live, it's like I have answers. We can start the ball, but then what happens is when it's off, it's like, oh yeah, that's a more eloquent way of wording it. But essentially, I think the summary, the wording that I was trying to look for when we were speaking last was, the mission statement behind Tint Wiz as a company and everything that we have lined up beyond just the app and so on. At the end of the day, is we want to provide tools and resources and best practices that are going to make businesses more successful. That's it. Any way we can help make you successful as a business, and we can help, in any way, that's it. It's making, so that's going to obviously mainly be through technology, but something that you've seen a lot of this last year and beginning of this year is already like we send out products to people, we do giveaways and so on, and like the intention behind that is, hey, this is a good product, let's get it in everybody's hand. That's a nice way, like it's a not, man, receiving, to me, I think receiving, like you're going about your day every day, work, go home, work, go
Yeah,
home, and so on. You get something in the mail that you weren't expecting. You open it up and it's something new or something, a tool or something you can use. Like, I think that is a great way to like make your day freaking bright. And then it's a great way to get something in somebody's hand. And then hopefully that tool helps them out, whatever it is, a tool or, and whatever way we can do that through technology or through physical goods or through live streams or through physical in-person events, which will probably never happen again, or whatever it is, that's essentially the mission statement, is just provide tools, tools, whether it be physical
sure.
or electronic, that are going to help businesses be successful. You can jump on the TintWiz train, start using the app, and whether you used to do things a little differently or you could do things differently, you can know that you're doing things in a very effective, proven way that is going to work extremely well. And that's like a level of confidence that I feel like when I was getting into the industry, there was no place for me to look and go, what are the systems? How do you do this? And it was more like learning from other tinters, and that's where dealer meetings come into a huge play and so on, because you're trying to grasp those best practices and so on, and trying to put them all into one place is it. So Cody Becker said, great way to confuse the crap out of us. Who the heck ordered the label maker? So one of the things we just did over the last like couple of weeks is, we launched our inventory system on TintWiz, and one of two features in that inventory system is, one, you can make QR coded labels for your boxes that then you can scan with your phone, pull it up, manage your inventory and so on. And you can physically see what's in the box from that label. And the other one is you can potentially, if you want to keep track of your films through weight, you can do that as well. So we took some of our earlier users, our more active users and so on, and we sent them scales and label makers. And then we shot them a message saying, expect it. But here and there, some people missed the message or the label maker got there before. So we got a lot of people asking us, hey, what's this label maker? Is it from you? I guess Cody was one of those confused people. So even stuff like that, hey, we're going to make an inventory system. And yes, one of the ways you can keep track of your film is using QR coded labels. That's an optional part of the inventory system, but a badass part. But like, I want to take it a step further and not just say, hey, you can do this and you need to buy this and that. But like, if we can, we're going to buy those products and mail them to you. And yeah, I know not everybody's going to use it. Like, I'm sure we're going to send stuff to people and they're going to not use it. But I'd rather put you in the best place to succeed, whether you take it or not, than expect you to take it. I want to be as strong as a wind as possible, whether
And,
you make it to your
and by the way,
destination or not.
yeah, I want to also, bring up your generosity of the people that have not signed up for TintWiz. Eric's been kind enough to offer during these times on a trial period and some free.
Oh yeah,
So if you
still
haven't,
completely free
yeah,
to use till at least until June 15th, but obviously we're still going to play it by ear, do what we got to do, but completely free no matter
yeah.
what. Anybody,
So,
everyone can go into
so
TintWiz and
that
use it.
that's 2 months, guys. So people said, hey, it's expensive.
It's
I'm
$100 a
paying.
month. Anybody who said it
No,
was
no, I
expensive.
know, but I'm just saying people said it was expensive. That was one of the excuses. The other excuses was I didn't have time. Now let me tell you,
You got time.
both of those excuses are gone. So you guys need to find a third one. So you got to try it out
Yeah.
and see if it fits, and you can go from there. So Eric, no, I mean, look, you know, I hear you loud and clear in terms of that, and I think we're saying the same thing in terms of the norms are going to change, and we've shared what our little brains we're able to think of. It would be very interesting to hear from other people as we go on some of their vision of how things are changing, so that we can all adapt to it, and we all have to, as an industry, we have to adapt to it as well.
All right. Well, with that, let's wrap this up. Tint Wisdom number 60. Harry, thank you for doing this. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. And we'll be
Thanks.
back after the weekend on Tuesday, same time, same place. And if you made it this far in the live stream and you still don't know that we're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's Tint Wiz. It's an opportunity to, one thing I want to bring up real quick, and I know why you did it, but I'm mushing two things into one, but they're the same. So the reason I'm bringing up YouTube is because so far, this is an hour and 40-minute live stream. And if you're trying to watch an hour and 40 minutes on Facebook, then you're not able to do anything else with your time other than leave your phone right there on the video, because the second you move it, the video cuts off. So YouTube is a much better place to watch this video, because you can actually switch screens, answer calls, do whatever you need to do. The video keeps playing. And then the other places through like Apple Podcasts or Apple, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, and so on, gives you an opportunity that if you just want to listen to this, because you really can listen without seeing our beautiful faces, you can do that as well. And I wanted to mention that to you, maybe off camera, but it doesn't really matter, is I know that your videos are dealer targeted, but I do think it would be cool to be able to listen to all of your Super Thursdays without having to be on that Facebook, because at the end of the day, if you're trying to binge listen to you, it's difficult when it's just on Facebook. It's hard to go from one to another and listen, because, like I said, you have to have your screen open and on Facebook, or else everything shuts off.
So one quick thing, Eric, there may be a comment by a gentleman by the name of David on. Can you see? F30.
What are the comments? I mean, there's been a few comments. I didn't see a David, but maybe a David Sarro. He said, "Welcome to Florida." Ceramic Pro. I didn't see another David, but tell me what you're thinking. Let's pretend he did.
No. He had texted me. He said, "Hey, I'd left a message on the feed." So it's just no big deal. David, it may have been buried, but
sometimes they don't all come through here for some reason, and I'll see them after on the Facebook. But
okay. Your point noted also on the. So what we'll do is we'll probably just have some of these videos available on and share the information on how people can access.
Maybe it's like a podcast on Apple Podcast. Everybody has Apple Podcast. Just cut the audio, make it a podcast, because then you can jump in the car, hit play, and start listening to one, and next thing you know, you've listened to 10.
Yeah. So
anyway,
point made.
That's it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Thanks, Eric. Take care.
All righty.